This is Morgan Kriesel reporting for Newsjunkie.net. I'm here with Mohammed Al-Maskati, the Director of Digital Security Helpline at Access Now, where he assists civil organizations, including human rights advocates, with digital security crises. I was hoping you could take us through a typical day of what you do at the helpline and what issues are coming up with the groups who contact you. What are they dealing with?
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. Actually, as a helpline, we are 24 by 7. During the day, we have a normal day that people on shift. So in the helpline, we have a different type of teams that working to supporting what we call the shift incident response. The team that receive tickets. So during 24 by 7, we receive tickets from vulnerable groups, human rights defenders, journalists. Some of these people asking for support, their accounts get hacked, or some people's arrested and they need support with securing their accounts. But also we worked with a very advanced digital needs, especially forensic work. So we do looking on investigations like spyware attacks or malwares or phishing attacks that targeting human rights defenders. The other team that in the helpline, they do security assessments and security awareness support. So this is one of the things that is happening. So I always say the helpline is like octopus. It's everywhere. There is a lot of hands working in the same time, providing support as much as we can holistically, because we also provided services like VPN sometimes when it's not needed, hosting sometimes when organization lost hosting, and other services. So we're trying to do as much as we can on the holistic approach. I think there is a lot of needs, a lot of organization, they don't know how to reach us. And I think the digital security became a very important part of people life.
Sorry, you said you work for the team that's mostly, can you just repeat that real quick?
Yeah, we usually do digital security supports.
Okay, gotcha. Where are most of your tickets coming from?
I can say that most of the tickets is based on sometimes on events. Like sometimes there is election in one of the countries and the government is shutting down the internet. So people are blocking platforms and not allowing people to access to social media. So we help them to get anti-censorship tools. Sometimes there is a protest in specific countries where people need digital security advice, so they need VPNs or any kind of support during that time. Also, when we look on conflicts and war, also a lot of needs that coming from countries like where we see that a lot of human rights defenders under attacks or journalists under attacks. So we provide these supports. That's the peak of our requests. We see really huge numbers of requests. Sometimes in some points we reach to 50,000 requests came in one time because of that peak. The
Wow.
question is, can we support all of these people? We cannot as a helpline because we do trying to vet all of these requests, especially the requests coming to us for the first time. We don't know the peoples. And to protect our beneficiaries and protect our system, we need to know who's these peoples, is real peoples, because at the end, we cannot support anyone because some people definitely want to abuse our mechanism and want to
Mhm.
abuse our services to gain access to accounts that not belong to them or trying to access informations that is really risky. So we're trying to vet everyone contacting us, especially if that person for first time contacting the helpline.
Wow, okay, gotcha. The day that there were 50,000 people contacting you, do you know what event was that? What was that connected to?
There was a lot of events of protest happening. I don't want to share the country, but it's happening one of the countries. and there was a really heavy internet shutdown happening there, and also some censorship to social media. So it was seems that the people just organized themselves, like sharing, oh, this is the helpline, contacting them, they will help you.
Wow.
So we saw the campaign that happening. Is not bad actor campaign. It just people didn't had any other options. So the only options for them is to contact the helpline. Even they try to also to build the draft for the message. So what you say to the helpline, this
Mm,
is a draft for message, please share it with the helpline so you get help. So I think there is also people sometimes they don't have alternative, and we understand this, but we have limitations on who to support, when to support, what we can support, like especially if you're talking about internet shutdown, we don't have a lot of tools to bypass that, right? So this is one of the limitation that we have in the helpline.
gotcha. What do you do when you have so many people overwhelming the line like that?
To be honest, there is a different type of things. One of the things is that we do sometimes filtering to try to support all of these people as much as we can. We are trying to work with partners that they have more regional understanding than us. We are a global organizations. We understand as much as we can regionally, but there is a definitely better peoples, better help desk that understanding regionally. So we're trying to cooperate with a regional help desk that have more information about specific protests or specific countries. We also work with them to do vetting. Sometimes we continue supporting, but we don't know these people. So we need to have someone do that vettings. In the helpline, Morgan, we speak more than 10 languages.
Wow.
Still, there is a lot of languages that we don't speak, and we get requests from these languages that sometimes we don't use, first of all, we don't use AI. So we don't use these, any messages come to us, use it to use the message outside the system to translate it to English to just protect the people that contacting us. Especially, we don't use any AI translations. So we need to be sure that the people understand what we say and we understand what they say. So what usually do we first question, if we don't speak that language, do you speak English? Do you speak another these languages that we can help you? Or sometimes, no, we try to cooperate with organization locally and regionally speak that language, and we refer the cases to them.
Gotcha. Are you guys the only global organization that has a helpline?
We are the only global organization have a helpline working 24 by 7. Yes,
Okay.
there is other organization do that. But I can say one of the crises that happened to our community, Morgan, is that when the US funding cut, a lot of organizations decide to do layoff for their staff because there is no funding. And I can tell you that at least six help desk just disappeared.
Wow.
And what happened is all of these cases, the people on these help desk communicating with us and say, look, don't have money anymore, but we still have cases that we need support from you. Can you just please help us? And what we do, so, yeah, please send it to us. If it's including in our mandate, we were happy to continue providing support. But to be honest, from the time that US funding gone, we're getting a massive request because at that time we had the ability to do more referring cases to another organizations. When it's not fit for us, we can still refer it to another help desk or another partners. Is not anymore the case because a lot of these partners is disappeared. A lot of organization lost a lot of money, so they don't have the capacity or the ability to take more cases.
Wow. Can you think of a name of one of the ones that shut down?
There is a lot of, I don't have now names in my mind, but there is a lot of organizations that they had even small groups supporting digital security. They just left,
Yeah.
and it's not anymore operating after the US funding situations.
Wow. How are you guys funded, if I could ask it? Were you affected by US cuts?
The good things, Morgan, is we have a policy not taking any US funding. That's one of the things. So
Yeah.
that's a good moment. We are happy with this policy. But in the same time, we did affect it indirectly, to be honest.
Hmm.
Our funding is all the organization funding us. The list of funders, it's online in our Access Now list because we have a transparency on that. But when the US funding left the community, there was a huge gap that other funders and other organizations want to cover, right? You cannot just cover 2 billions in 1 year or less. What happened is if the organization or funders give us money, say like 200,000, they come to say, okay, we will give you this year only 100,000 because we need to give the another 100,000 to another organization. So
Right.
we are not directly affected by US funding, but also affected indirectly because the funders and other organizations reducing the fund to us because they need to cover another funding to organization already lost millions of funding in their budget.
Yeah, they have to spread themselves thinner. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the situation, and it just is like it's like you take 2 billions directly from a community and then you tell the community, please solve this problem. You cannot. 2 billion is not a small numbers, Morgan. It's not a small numbers because I can say there is hundreds of thousands working in these organizations and they had to leave the communities. Every day we get informations that, oh, this person left the organizations, this person left the organizations because there was no funding.
Wow.
There is a very amazing, talented people in the community now without jobs. And the problem is the organization is still running. They don't have budget to do new hiring, right? Like
Mm.
including Access Now, we had to freeze on the new hiring because we want to be sure that strategically we are doing good on the budget side and working well and supporting the team that we already inside the organization.
Yeah, yeah, that's so I've been covering this kind of area for a while. If a little backstory about my project is that I'm trying to cover independent research initiatives, research support initiatives that are springing up in the wake of the federal support of research and data collection being cut. I've been talking to a lot of ex-federal scientists who no longer have their jobs. Amazing people who have dedicated their career to public service and research who are now left without their positions. But I've been very focused on the US for the whole time that I've been on this project. So it's sobering to hear that has not been contained to the US, that very talented people doing great work have been pushed out of their jobs across the world because of the US administration. Yeah, that's important for me to know and something that I think probably gets ignored a lot in the coverage that I've been seeing.
It's actually, we lost a lot of research. If you think about this, not only in US, in the whole world, we lost massive research that can do a lot of helps, not only in our community, but in many places, not only in human rights and digital security, in psycho supports, everywhere. We lost a lot of ability of doing research that can do a change in the futures. We don't know what people were doing, what people are working. I know at least 2 or 3 researchers, they were working on amazing research that can help the humanity all the world, but they don't have the funding to travel, they don't have the funding to continue this research, so now the research is on hold. The question is how that's impact, not now. we're talking about long run impact, right? Like after
Yeah.
3, 4 years, when these people who do a research, they cannot come back to the community, they cannot come back to the human rights field or the humanity fields, then they decide to go to more business side. So we actually lost these people, right?
Yeah.
Because if after 3 years, if you money come back, you cannot get these people back because they already saw what instability is, right? And they
Right.
cannot get them back to your side, then you're losing already. And after 3 years, we will lose more people because they say now business side or private side is also not stable, but they will say better conditions, better salary, more stable than our community. Why I need to go back to community? I will get fired after this is happening again. I will get fired again, and yeah, so all of this, we need to think about it. And the impact, we will not see it now. I
Yeah.
think you will see it in 3, 4 years when we find ourselves, we don't have all of these good people with us.
Yeah. I think you're right. The impact on research, especially, is going to be years down the line. It's hard to ask for attention on that sometimes. I found when I'm covering this because there's other things that are impacted immediately, like all of the USAID, global healthcare things that have been cut. That has immediate devastating impacts. But yeah, the research, the positive things that we've killed in its cradle is also devastating. It just takes longer to show up. Yeah, where was I going with this?
Also,
Yeah.
I want to show you also the other side.
Mm,
What we saw recently is when the fund cut, most of the organization, the first things they did is to reduce cost. Reduce cost, laying off non-programmatic people in this organization. That mean IT people or security department people.
mm,
Okay. Plus cancel a lot of services in these organizations. When we looked on what that mean in security, in digital security, that mean there is no one in this organization can protect the staff inside the organization from any kind of attack, like digital attacks happen to them, right? Because that person is already not anymore in the organization. Secondly, and that's why when I came to the situation, I say, let's work on getting services because a lot of these organizations lost services like email security, VPN, hosting, all of these services, the organization cannot pay for it during the cut, right? So I tried through the team and say, look, let's communicate with these platforms and say, can you give us these services for free? Because this is one of the important part for the organization. So now we started providing VPN years ago, but now we're providing also hostings, providing anti-malwares, providing other stuff. And because we found out that this organization needed support. They're
yeah.
already under attack, and we created another phase of attack by taking all the services from them and good people from them and open the whole doors for any kind of attacks. And this is actually it will increase the it will increase the possibility of being targeted by state actor or non-state actors.
Wow. Okay, so you are acting as an IT department now for all of these groups who have had to cut theirs.
We're trying to not be it, to be honest, Morgan, because if we worked on IT department for, can you imagine? I think I will need in my team at least 3,000, 4,000.
Yeah.
My team is only 25 people,
Wow.
and 25 people focusing on global needs. It's really small amount of people. So
Yeah.
if we want to help thousands of organizations, and I need at least 3,000 people in my team to do that work. We don't have the budget for it, to be honest. We don't have the ability to do it. We're trying to provide as much as we can. And as I said before, there is still needs. There is no budget for it or no funding for it.
Wow. Yeah. No, you don't want to be in the position of being the world's IT department, but wow. Yeah, that makes sense. So we were talking about the loss of trust in kind of the research infrastructure that existed, how people won't want to come back now that they've been shoved out of their jobs and treated with disrespect, I think we can call it. That is also something that I'm interested in as building
Mhm.
up alternative structures, knowing that people won't want to return to the structures that existed because they can be corrupted so easily, is something that I think is, I don't know, a move we need to be making. And yeah, so I think organizations like yours, nonprofits, collaborations that are global but also very connected to the communities where we are inviting people in to participate, I think is really important. So it's cool to see such, I don't know, a large organization take up this, or not a large organization because you just said you were very small, but it's cool to see this focus of nonprofits, of getting in there and helping people who are doing the work. I think that's really cool. I think this is really creating room for support type organizations like Access Now. So I'm very happy to profile and spotlight you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Also, there is a big challenges here, Morgan, is like the security, information security, cyber security is the most expensive field in the whole world, right? And the biggest challenge here is to find the good people that they want to work with the NGOs and they don't want to go to work with the big companies. Because the first things, if you look on salary, we cannot compete big company salary. Like I cannot give you hundreds of thousands as private company will do, right? With your expertise, with your knowledge, with your skills, it will be easy for you to go to a big security company and you get paid well, good conditions, premium health insurance, and all of the benefits you will get. And this is one of the things, to be honest, that we are facing. Even if there is a good peoples that they want to do this job and do research and stuff, but you cannot compete as a NGOs, as a human rights organization. You cannot compete private sectors because private sectors will pay well, will pay more, better benefits, and all of that. And that I'm trying to move differently in this stage. One of the things is that why we don't provide as much as we can professional developments and skills to the people that are already with you. And they deserve to be well skills. They deserve to get all these trainings and supports and professional development. So the last few months, I was trying to coordinate with independent in cybersecurity institutes and cybersecurity companies that providing skills and asking them if they can provide these kind of trainings and courses and stuff where it is. I will give you an example. Like there is a courses in cybersecurity, it's cost 10,000 for one person.
Yeah,
So 10,000, no organization, I'm telling you, no organization in the whole, especially NGOs, can send one person to do a training for 10,000, right? Because if I will look on my team, I have a 25 people. If I want to send each person to this kind of a training, I'm talking about 10,000 for each person, right? So it's not a small amount
yeah. And when you're already
because this
strapped for
is,
funding,
Yeah, exactly. So what I was thinking the last few months is how we can go to this organization and talking with them about how social impact important. And rather than to bring people with all this expertise from private sector, why we don't trying to support the people in the public sectors, in the NGOs with
Mhm.
skills and courses and professional developments that they need so they can go up as much as we can to the level of the people in the private sectors. And this is one of the vision that I have. I don't think we need to go to bring people who already have part of the private sectors to our sectors. I will be happy that they come to the public sector because it will help us on getting all their knowledge they have. But I think we need to spend a lot of energy and a lot of resources on the people that already there, and we push them to be good as much as they can. So that's one of the thing I think it's important. And even for researchers and other stuff, I think this is the good time with limited resources to
Mhm.
support peoples that already in the public sector, already in the NGOs to invest on them, invest in humans so they can be good in futures.
And through bringing in collaborators instead of trying to fund new programs yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think it's now how to I think we are in the stage that how we can invest more on human, not technology. I
Oh,
think that's the most important because I attend 100 of conferences about technology. Every NGO I saw or human rights organizations, they spend a lot of money on technology, how to make AI good, how to get that tools to help us to reduce amount of work, how to do this by buying services and technology. That's good. I think it will make your life easy. But in the future, the question is how all of these tools and service will be run. They will not run alone. Even AI, it will not run alone. It need a human approach to work with all of these technology. If you don't spend now and invest now in human and you put all your money in technology, in the future, you will not have the impact of that investment.
yeah.
So now is the good time with limited resources, invest on people. That's what you need now.
Wow, I like that a lot. Yeah. When it comes to AI, do you guys not use it at all, or what's your policy?
Look, it's a very complicated relationship with the AI, to be honest.
Yeah.
In our work, we don't use AI at all, especially because we're dealing with a very sensitive informations, right? I'm talking about a high sensitive information, people informations, beneficiary informations, requests that come to us through the helpline. We built recently AI policy internally, and it's a very intense policy when we can use AI, how we use it, what kind of information we use it. And one of the things that we need to think about, if we use what's the mean of private informations and public informations, right? I can give you an example. If there was an article online and you want the summary of the article, good. You put it in AI, ask the AI to give you the summary of the article. You don't want to read all the article or reports because it's already public. So any kind of training of the machine, it will use a public information. Can you imagine, Morgan, you send me a request, very private request to do something, and I put it in AI to translate it or to give me a summary. This is one of the red line that I don't want to cross it. And I was very clear with the team. Don't use AI on building any tickets or writing, even writing. Because if you need to write email using AI, then you need to put information to tell the AI what kind of information, right? So what we did in our team, everything's in the team is documented. So we have a draft for messages if you want to send. It's built internally. If you want to write a message to one of the platform, you don't need to ask AI. We have it for you already drafted. If you want to communicate with beneficiaries, in any cases, each case there is a draft that you can use. So you don't need to go to AI to tell you what to use and how you. In this way, we're protecting our team, protecting the beneficiary that who communicating with us. And also, you're talking about trust. How the beneficiary will trust us if we know in the future that we are using AI to analyzing the case, or we using AI to translating what the beneficiary sent to us. That's a red lines in the helpline.
The minute you bring AI in, your security is just not, is compromised.
Yeah, one of the things, look, there is some tools in our forensic work that is using AI, but we are limiting that by which information that we feed the AI, because AI is based on is like a machine that you feed that machines, and the machine will give you more better answers. And this is challenges for us, let's be honest, because now a lot of tools and technology is using AI, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of the challenge for us, because we are not the developers. We don't develop our own tools. We are trying to use. So one of the things that we are trying to see is to analyze the tools before we decide to use it. We want to use these tools. Let's analyze how the tools are storing informations, how the tools is using AI, what's the information collecting from people devices, how they collect that information, what is the data retention in the tools, who is the developers, where is the tools is based. If you tell me the tools is based on a very representative countries like Russia or Korea, or definitely this is a bigger question, right? Because
Yeah.
then all the data center will be monitored by the government. So we ask ourselves all these questions. If we have answer for them, then definitely we will use that technology. If we don't have answer for them, then we prefer that we don't get a very advanced things. We get less advanced, but with protected information.
Gotcha. That makes total sense. Yeah, my editor had sent me something about how you guys were part of a partnership on AI and dropped out in 2020 because of their, yeah, do you know about that, or do you know the reasoning?
Maybe it's not in our team, maybe the other team in the access now. But in the helpline, we didn't partner with any AI. The only partner we do with any company of AI is when we do escalations. What that mean? So if someone contacting us say, "Oh, my account in specific platform was hijacked or closed. Can you please escalate it to the platforms?" So what we do is we escalate it to platforms and try to coordinate with platforms. But we don't coordinate with AI companies to promote their service. We don't do that. First of all, any organizations give us funding, we do a vetting for them, right? I will be very honest with you. We did refuse a lot of offer of funding for many companies came to us. Big companies came
Yeah.
to us and say, "We want to offer this for you." And we say, "Okay, what you will take from us?" And they say, "Oh, can you promote our technology?" And we say, "No, we don't do that." So any funding that come to us, we don't promote their technology. That's one thing. We don't even use their technology sometimes. Okay, you fund us, but we think your technology is not suitable for the helpline, so we don't use it. Or it's not suitable for the access now, so we don't use it. So I always look on the ethical side of our work. It's not only the professional side here. We always need to look on the ethical side. If you we if we have a partnering with organizations or partnering with company, and then the company say, I will give you this technology, can you put it in your website or put it in any communications? And then we found that this technology is collecting massive informations. Is Let's leave professional side. Ethical side for us, it's a big no. We cannot, because we are all, by the way, Morgan, one of the things I really like about my team, everyone is activist. Everyone in the team is activist. So it's not about working on a very big organizations and doing professional work only, but also the team have ethics that say we cannot work with this organization. We are very clear with them, and we share with them that we cannot work with you because 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are happy if you change your way of collecting information or the way that you're behaving or your way that your app is behaving. We are happy to coordinate. Other than this, sorry, we cannot coordinate, and we cannot, even if you give us money, we will not promote your tools.
Yeah, that's really great. I feel like the Silicon Valley big tech philosophy of move fast and break things leaves all of the ethics for everybody else to pick up. They've abandoned it to make progress, and the rest of us have to dedicate so much time and energy to bringing it back into these conversations around technology, which is so great. No consequences at all from that.
Look, one of the challenge now about technology, there is a lot of money spent on technology all the way, right? Now, if you look on even small organizations, small in the private sector and NGOs sometimes, everyone talking about how to make your life easier, how to analyze informations, how to get reports. I want to do this work, and then I want to give all this information to this machine to create a report for me, to take that report to our funders. That's beautiful. That's so nice. The biggest questions, the biggest small line between all of that, ethics, how to deal with ethics. It's not about technology because technology is easy to access, but ethically, how this technology is controlling our life, how this technology is taking all the informations and save them in a very bad place and then get leaked and everyone know about them. And this is we need to ask ourselves as organizations that dealing with a lot of sensitive content and sensitive informations. People send us pictures and for private information for their life. They sometimes even send emotional to us, like someone, their naked picture was online and they want to take that pictures. Can you imagine that all of this information get leaked because we use technology is unsafe, or we decide that I want to reduce the amount to spend in one ticket, then it's fine. I will give it to AI to analyze the tickets for me. Ethically, professionally, it's nice, right? Because then I will tell you example. Sometimes in the helpline, we spend month on one ticket, month. Because what we do, we take the request, analyze it, send it to the platforms. The platforms say, okay, I will not remove that content, or I will not do that, or I will not. Then we take that, send it to beneficiaries, and beneficiaries respond, and we take it and we send it to platforms. So all of these communications sometimes take really ages, right? It will be easy to build chatbots, do all these communications between the beneficiaries and platforms.
Yeah.
And it will be like train that chatbots. Okay, how to respond to this and do that and send that, all of that, right? Then Professionally, that's nice, right? But ethically, the question is, if the leak happened on the chatbot, let's imagine the agent leaked the information that between beneficiaries and the platforms, or between beneficiaries and other peoples. How we are feeling about that event, okay? That's a disaster for human rights sectors, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes I have mixed feeling when I hear that some of organization using AI to analyze things or do a report. I don't want to send any judgment here. I don't want to tell people what to use or not to use. They are based on their analyzing. But it's a feeling that because I know the bad side of it, right? I know what will happen when something like that. And that's my work. I worked on this in more than 20 years now. I understand when, can you imagine your very private information leaked online, how you will feel? I trust Access Now, and they put my information in a chatbot, and chatbot leaked my information. How will I will feel now towards Access Now, toward the helpline?
Yeah. Your trust is destroyed.
And it's not only destroyed to Access Now or the helpline, the whole sector.
Yeah.
I will not trust human rights organization again. I will not trust humanitarian organization again. There's
Wow.
a big issues here. Why we need, I think this is with technology now, I think we need to stop and say what we are doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand the appeal of wanting to use these tools because, like you're saying, you have so many tickets to get through. You have so many people that need help. You want to help as many as possible. AI can help you do that. But at the same time, it's the very same thing that they're coming to you for, which is security. You can't guarantee them when you use these tools. So yeah, that's a big problem.
That's a big problem, and I don't know how to solve that. I will be very honest with you. I don't know. The only thing I can do is advise them,
Yeah.
but people need to think about it, really.
Yeah, I like that a lot. We've sacrificed so much for efficiency and for profit. It's time to slow down and bring ethics back into the room. Yeah.
Totally.
So back to the helpline a bit, do you find yourself giving generally similar advice a lot of the time, or is it more specifically tailored to each organization? Do you have like, something that you find yourself saying, repeating more and more?
No, we don't repeat the same advice. It's actually based on what's the risk, because we don't give general advice. We give
Gotcha.
specific advice for people. That's why the preventive work, it's take more time in our set. Sometimes it takes 6 months or 7 months because we want to do like risk assessment, understanding the threat model, understanding the needs, understanding the resources you have. All of that will give us what approach that we can go. So that's why we go slowly. We don't rush the advice. We want to understand your needs first, and then we give you the advice that, because also I always say that we are like a hospitals and doctors and nurses, right? So can I give you medicine without scan, or can I give you medicine without blood test? We do
Mm,
the same in the helpline. We want to be sure that what you get advised, I cannot promise you 100% it's the right things, right? But I can promise you it's based on what you shared, that, and that's based on the knowledge that we have, that is really spend the time to analyze your situation. We are trying to provide you the good advice.
gotcha. Okay. Did you get a chance to look through the list that I sent you of audience members that I have?
Yeah, I looked
Okay.
on the list. I looked
Okay,
on the
sweet.
list. You are really talked with the nice people.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of all of them. Yeah, I want to help them where I'm trying to be like a hub of resources, places for these people to get. as much and as varied of help that they can. So yeah, I've been mostly focused on research help, data, alternative data sources, and stuff like that. But as I've been researching, security has just come up over and over again. So yeah, I'd love to be able to give them some tips. You just said that you don't do general advice, but if based on these kinds of archetypes, you can just little things or specific things that they could do would be.
I will give you the best advice I learned last 20 years. I think the risk is not from technology. I think the risk from behavior, our behavior using technology. Because technology is just a support system for you, right? You want to do something, you use your computer to do it, right? This is how you support you, right? But what I'm talking about behavior is how you deal with technology as a person, right? I will give you example for that. I want to write email. I use my phone, but in the same time, it's fine for me to put my phone in the coffee shop away from me to charge, okay? Really away from me to charge. It's fine. This is not a security problems. It is security problems, but this is not a technology problems. It's a behavior problem. My behavior, it's fine for me to keep my phone away to charge, like really 7 meters away from. Or I reserve the table by putting my phone on the table. Then I go to order a coffee and my phone stay in the table for 10 minutes without anyone attending. So it's a behavior, it's not a technology. And that's why I always say the problem is not with the technology. Technology is trying to help us, right? The problem is how we use that technology to help us. And that's why I always think it's important to look on protecting your information, not by only learning how to use like a secure tools or secure technology or encryptions or a good service. No, how to change your behavior towards technology, daily use, how you change your daily use on that sense. So that's the best things now you need to do. I know that technology is risky, but
Mhm.
your behavior is more risky than the technology. The way that you're dealing with technology is really more risky than anything else. So we need to think about, I always say, sit and think. What we do, it make technology become a threat, not a supporter. It's a very simple question.
Gotcha. What habits and behaviors that people typically have do you think poses the most risk?
One of the behavior, because we use a phone, most of the behaviors, it's related to this small device that we have every day. It's a very small. How many people do updates for their apps? How many people do updates for their operating programs in their device? How many of people's actually know that this link is bad? Don't click on it. How many people communicate with people they don't know? How many times people adding people's in Instagrams and Facebooks and receiving messages from them, they don't know them? How many time people receive message in WhatsApp, they download it, they don't know who's these people's, right? And how many you as a person, do you know what each app in your device do? You download it, but do you know what this app is do? Do you have a password in your phone? So all of these questions, it's a things that people usually don't do. The big question here is protecting your device based on technology? No, because I will put a very weak password. I will not, the device will not tell me don't put that weak password. It will take any passwords and will accept it, right? But this is a bad behaviors that, and then Morgan, I will ask you, this is a question for you. How many times you do restarted your phone in the day?
In a day?
Yeah.
Not very often.
Okay. I will tell you something. One of the most important advice I want to give to people, restarting your phone at least twice a day. Because we found that spyware, some of the government spywares is stayed in the temporary memory of the phone. So if you restart it, it will remove the spywares from your device and they need to infect you again. And that's what we find from the victims because they keep infecting the victims because of that. So this is a small things that you can do daily, but people don't do it,
Yeah.
right? Another question, Morgan. How many times you close your phone? You close your computers. You don't put it on sleep in the end of the day because you are so lazy to not turn it on the second day, right?
Yeah.
Go and ask people. Someone told me, I was shocked. Someone told me that 4 weeks I didn't close my computers. Not even restarted. No, not even restarted. I was like, that's a big problem. That's a
Mhm.
behaviors. It's not a technology, right?
Yeah.
This is a problem. Then they complain. My computer is slow. There is a lot of stuff happening. There is a sound. It's heat. All of this is a problem because we didn't close our computer.
I see. That's interesting. I think, I don't know, would you say these behaviors were encouraged to use technology in a risky way? I'm thinking of Apple has designed their phones to be more conducive to quick charging bursts. It's not you
Mm.
turn off your phone at the end of the day, you let it charge for hours. It's now keep your phone on all the time. Just unplug and replug whenever you need, right? It's laptops that are designed to in the same way of they don't expect to be turned off. And then I don't know, I think of social media, people their data is being mined and that is the point of social media for the
Mhm.
tech companies, right? You are the product. You are meant to not question how much information you're giving up. I don't know. I hear what you're saying about the thing that we do to fight back is we change our behaviors. But I feel like the risk that is most posed to, say, the average person instead of somebody working in activism or stuff like that, the average person is their habits and behaviors are being formed around being data cattle. Like, I don't know. What's your reaction to that?
That's a true, but it's still like I want to use social media, right? I still want to be online, right?
Mhm.
I don't want to be out just totally cut from social. I don't advise people to be out from social media, to be honest. If you want to use social media, use it. The question is what you post in social media. What is the setting in social media? Is this open? Is it private? What is the setting? If the social media in my phone or just for me, I don't have social media in my phone. Everything is in the computer. So when I am in my phone, actually, I don't have any social media to check or to be online or to be attached to that, right?
Why is that?
Because a lot of these social media apps have a specific permissions that allow to collect information, to chase you to another app, to spend more time in social media. I know people spend hundreds of hours in TikTok and other stuff. So for me, I will still have social media, but I will not have it in my computer device. I will have it in my computer. When I'm working, and my computer, I'm not turning my computer 24 hours, right? Because I will just turn it when I need it, right? And because of that, Instagram is not allow you to post anything unless you are in your phone. Okay. That's why I don't have Instagram. Because why you don't allow me to post if I am in computer, then I will not use it. Sorry, I don't care about. So I don't have an Instagram. So that's what I think you need to think about. I don't think you need to be very extreme in that. I
Gotcha.
think you need to still live your life, but look on. what you need to change. You don't need to be totally away from Facebook or Instagram or anything, but good to look on the settings that protecting you. Good to look on the apps that protecting you. Good to look on your behaviors, like how many times, what you post, and all of that. How you interacted with this social media. That's important, and that's a behavior. It's not a
Mm.
technology. It's a behavior, right?
Mm.
Because social media, it will not force you to post a picture, but you decide to post a picture where it is contained your locations, people in your back, their faces, a sign in the back will know where you are going or where you are spend your time. So all of these questions you need to ask yourself. It's important to ask yourself and think about it. Don't be away from social media. Still, you want to know news, you want to read, you want to communicate with people. And this is a life now. But protect yourself and be sure that sitting in the social media can help you to do that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I feel like a lot of social media apps are designed to have you zone out, and it's the algorithm, it's the flow state of I'm not thinking very much. And you're saying interrupt that, be vigilant, keep it. You have to fight against the way the app is designed in order to do this. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Build your safe environment inside social media. Don't let the social media to lead you. You lead that. Okay. And this way you can protect yourself.
I like that. Okay. I work with a lot of organizations that are dealing with very sensitive data sets. For example, I know that I sent you one, a prison rights organization where they are interviewing LGBT prisoners, trans prisoners especially, which are very much a target of the US administration right now. And they are trying to, especially doing survey stuff, collecting their experiences and voices. But now they have a data set that is very sensitive and targeted. Do you have any advice, any practices, maybe any tools, recommendations for situations like that?
We need to ask ourselves. I don't know what's the threat model here because we need to understand the threat model, but we need to ask ourselves where we first, how we collect this information, where we hosting this information, because this is important. And also not only the technology but also country where we're hosting, because if we're hosting in a country that prevent accessing to data rather than hosting a countries that data center is open and can be accessed by legal or other stuff. The question is, what's the data retention? Let's say I collect that information, I kept it in my system. What when I have a time to remove all of these data and delete them permanently. So all of these questions, I don't want to give advice on specific things that I'm not sure about the threat models, but we need to ask ourselves these questions to understand where we are going. Then, based on all of these risk assessment and understanding the needs, it will lead us to know what technology we want, because it will understand, okay, I want to use this technology and data center, but I don't want to use data center in US. I want to use data center in Switzerland as example, or I want to use data center in Europe because it's GDPR. I want to use this technology because it's encrypted, right? Or I want to use this technology because it's open source. So I trust the open source more than private company. So all of these questions, it will help us to understand where we are and what we want to use based on all of this. If we answer these questions that we ask, what's the risk? How we can manage the information? Who have access to information? It will help understand us what's the technology we want.
Gotcha. So it's where are we hosting the data? How are we getting the data? How long are we keeping it for? Those are the three main questions.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. And then I tell me if this is a little bit out of pocket, but I've heard Iceland is a good place to keep data. They have really strong data protection laws. How feasible would you say that is for like a really small grassroots community organization, or what would you suggest as maybe low budget data security for activist organizations?
Look, there is a lot of private companies now have a data center in Iceland. So when you pick that service, you need to look where they are hosting the data. I just want to say today, it's just example. Today is Iceland. Yesterday was Switzerland. Tomorrow, I don't know because all of these data retentions and legal situation is keep changing, right? So you need to think about, I will think about encrypting the data, then host it in anywhere rather than to keep the data unencrypted and hosted in a very strong country. In the future, that situation change, then all my data will be at risk, right? So it's important to think about preventing this. So even if they share the data with the government, the data is encrypted. So I don't need to trust the country. I need to trust the technology.
It's multiple layers of security.
Exactly. Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me see. Was there another? Okay. And then for the independent person, the individual journalist or researcher, what kind of questions, what kind of, yeah, should these people be doing?
The biggest question here, if you are a journalist, is to think about how you're getting the information, how to protect your source, how to communicate with your source, how to protect the information that you get it from your source, and also how to use that information that will not expose your source. Because as a journalist, a lot of information come to you, right? So one of the risk is that your source get exposed and you will be at risk. So you need to always think about the communication that's happening. And a lot of journalists, to be honest, they don't encrypt their communication between them and the source. And that when the source gets arrested or the journalist gets arrested, all this information get exposed from both sides.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, as far as encryption goes, I feel like we've had a lot of conversation around Signal. I feel like people's kind of trust has been shaken in that. Do you have a take on that? How secure is Signal? Should we be using something else?
I think Signal is the most secure app now. The problem is it's not enough to use a secure app. Is need also a device that hosts the app to be secure. If you're using everything security, good security in your phone, then your phone is good compromised, infected with spyware. Everything in the phone is exposed. So it's not like you are securing the app that you are 100 bulletproof. No, you need to also to work on secure the app, the device itself, right? Then the third level, if you stopped by the police, you give them your passwords, then even if you secure your app, secured your host, the device, and you decide to give that password to the police, then there is a problem. Everything will be exposed. You need to think about a different layer of protecting yourself. So good app, securing the device, and strategy regarding if your device get confiscated or taken, how to protect your information.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so you guys are reaching out to, you said private sector collaborators for developing skills, courses that they ha maybe have already, but offering them for free. What other ways are you addressing and trying to adapt to the massive problems that have been caused by the everything of it all?
This is one of the main things is how to enhance and provide skills to our peoples, like in the community, right? Because the community is already poor. Community don't have money to spend on getting a very expensive peoples to be in their side. So the best things is, as I say, invest in human as much as you can and trying to get what you invest. Like, invest on human in a strategic way. not on random way, because you not only in the helpline we have a list of in each position what kind of courses and training that position need to take. So it's not like you invest randomly on the people. You invest really strategically that help you to move from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4. So in this way, you already have a clear plan on investment, not only randomly, because randomly then at the end of that, you will not get anything.
Okay. So much like everything else, you are assessing everything firsthand, first of all, and then going in with specifically needs to happen. Okay.
Exactly.
So are you guys on the lookout for any US partners if I were to have a section in my newsletter where I'm like, hey, this organization needs this. Does anybody, would you be interested in something like that? What kind of feelers could we put out?
Yeah, definitely. We are happy to. I'm focusing now more on well-being of the team because this is one of the things that not a lot of organizations do invest. As I say, I invest in human also not only in professional development, but also on their emotional and well-being. So I'm working a lot now to invest on that side, and really interesting to see if there is any organization providing support to staff on that field.
Thank you for hanging in there for a long one. What time is it for you?
Thank. It is 6:47 now.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Long work day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.